Oh, yeah. We're always ready to rock.
Very cool. Hello and welcome to Start the Beat, the show where we highlight the past, present, and future of the Pittsburgh music scene. I am your host, Brian Sykes-Howe, and today, joining me, new friends that I have never met before. This is another episode. I haven't done this in a while, but this is people that I'm actually, you know what? I just completely fucked up the whole intro of this. I used to do this joke back when I had my old studio that used to be in my house.
Yeah.
And I would say, oh, this is an episode of people I've never met in my house.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
We're not at your house.
we're not in my fucking house, so it
You
doesn't
can
fucking
lie.
matter.
You can lie to them.
Anyways, yeah. This is my home.
You live here.
We're going to
now.
be lying the
Well,
whole
planet
time.
Earth
so-
is our home. Everyone's home.
I'm not. I live here already. So.
Anyways, everyone, make some noise. Razorblades in the building.
Ew.
Oh!
It's us.
Hey,
Hello.
good to
Hello.
meet you guys officially. I
to meet
saw
you.
you at the Constant Hell release show.
Oh, that was a good
Yeah.
one.
I was there.
That was a good one.
Wild.
I was there geographically and physically. Mentally, I was elsewhere.
Was anyone there mentally? Like I'm sober and I wasn't there
Yeah.
Is this the
mentally.
one at the Green Beacon?
No, this was
no.
a
Shred
shred
shed.
shed.
Oh, yeah. No,
When
I
they
know
had
what you're
the
talking
blow-up
about. All of
dolls.
the stuff. Yeah.
And
Glow
the-
sticks.
And the glow sticks.
Uh-huh.
Balloons. So you could tell I was paying attention.
Yes. JB never knows where
Sex
we're at.
dolls.
Yeah, it was quite a hoot. So definitely shout outs to
Damn.
those guys. I think those guys are partially part of the reason why we're all sitting here together today.
They are.
100%.
They
yeah.
are. I like Constant Hell. We played our first show with them, so like I give that like we've just been friends since like day one, and we've just been doing stuff ever since.
Fuck yeah.
Them and Black Knife. We were with Black Knife too.
Yeah, Black Knife and Cutting Ties, which isn't a band anymore, but they're now Princess. They
Oh,
kinda-
okay. Yeah.
So we're like that's like all the like day one homies. So we've done a lot with all those bands.
Hell yeah. So yeah, because I would say that so Razorblade is reasonably new. How long have you been playing? Just about a year or so?
We've been playing shows a year and 3 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, how many shows we got now? 49.
Since Jay joined the band in January of this year, and since Jay's been in the band since January, we've played 49 shows.
Hell yeah.
And next Sunday will be our 50th show.
Hey, congratulations
Yeah.
on that. That's awesome.
We're really stoked about
Hitting
it.
the ground running. I've noticed just from social media stuff since like y'all came on my radar that it seems like you're doing a lot of like regional go and play in other places,
Yeah.
making moves. And that's something that seems to be like a hurdle for a lot of new bands. And I'm curious, like, have you all been in like other bands before? And this is like a new
Yeah.
project, but used to the grind
Definitely.
type of
Lots
thing.
of bands.
Yeah, Jay's been in like a ton of bands.
I think
Like-
we've all moved a lot in our lives too.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, so you have like friends and connections and
Oh,
different cities. and
we
shit.
want to
Yeah.
get out
Totally.
of town as much as possible. But yeah, Slammy's probably got the most experience with tour.
I lived in Columbus, Ohio for a long time, and I was in a band called Uncle Slammy and the Warlords, and we were like, it's like similar style, like crossover, thrash punk, just dirty rock and roll shit. And like that band, like we didn't tour a whole lot, but like we did like 2-week long like East Coast and like Southern tours, and then we played regionally a lot. And I know a lot of people from like that time in my life, so when I started this band, I just started like hitting everybody up. And I was like, yo, I got this new band. I want to fucking tour. I want to go.
Yeah.
And we just kind of been hitting the ground running like since then.
That's awesome. I think that one of those things that's like a big hurdle for new bands coming, even people that have been doing it for a while, it's like how do we get started? Why do we keep doing this? It's a lot of bullshit. It's a big
yeah.
headache to make it work. So as someone that, you know, a bunch of people I've never met before, I'm sure, you know, I don't know all your personal lives all that well, but I'm sure everybody has other shit that they could be doing besides this.
I'm probably the
So
worst
why-
one that's like, why the fuck
why
are we doing
so why
that?
start a new band? Why are we still doing this? Why,
Slammy's got the
why
answers
Razorblade?
for that too, because he just
Or he just-
doesn't
or is it
think
just-
about anything
Is it
else.
as simple as
Yeah.
like I just have to do it?
It's
compulsory.
kind of that like simple, but like, yeah, my old band, was like my life. That's all I really cared about back then. And I was like a really bad alcoholic. So I was fun. Like everyone was like, oh, this guy's crazy. Cause I just get like fucking crazy drunk and do crazy shit when we played live. And it just started to like take its toll on my personal life and the band. Cause I was just like a mess. And I was the leader of that band. And it was just kind of all falling apart. So when I left Columbus, it was kind of like this just big, huge thing. And I had to move back home to Shadyside, Ohio, worst place ever. And while I was there, I was like, I gotta start
Ohio.
a new band. I gotta like get my life together. And then I just started Razorblade. And I moved to Pittsburgh to be with my wife, who moved to Pittsburgh from Columbus to get away from me. And now we've been married almost 2 years. And that's about almost as long as Razorblade's been a band. So
Very cool.
The classic story of a bad alcoholic meeting a good alcoholic. And then we're like, okay, we need a drummer. So
yeah, that took a minute because we had like my buddy Seth played drums for us for like our first show.
shout out Seth.
And then we had like this crazy rocker dude named Tony that I like met at my landscape job, and he was like just nuts and like never been in a band before, and he was sober too. So I was like, oh, maybe this will like work. And then he like just tried to fight JB one night after a show.
When we say sober, we do mean smoking tons of weed.
I mean, yeah.
Also.
Gotcha.
yeah.
So that's
They call that
vague.
California sober.
Yeah.
Cali sober.
Yep. I'm from California, so I know all about that.
But I don't want to talk shit, but yeah, we realized that wasn't just working out
Totally. I mean, that's
as well as it could be.
Yeah, and then so after
But it was fun.
he tried to fight him, and we kicked him out.
That part wasn't fun.
We kind of like talked about him. We're like, should we give him one more chance? And we're like, we'll see how he handles it.
I
And he
said,
just
no.
didn't handle it like an adult. So we were just like, yeah, fuck off,
well,
dude.
that's probably a good thing because
definitely.
The thing that's interesting about human nature is that usually the way somebody reacts in one particular situation is a good indicator of how they're going to react in every situation.
Yeah.
I thought about that all the time. Was like, we're not just like we're just getting started, but yeah, like this is just a small group of people from Pittsburgh. What's it going to be like when we're in Detroit and we don't know anybody, we don't have any backup. We can't just
You have to have.
if he's gonna
You got to have each other's
go off
backs.
the handle,
Right,
like,
yeah.
we need each other.
Yeah,
That's the point of the fucking band. So
Couldn't even have that. So
it is what it is, though.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
The guy,
hopefully
just
he's
like
doing just
not
fine.
the homie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you got to be homies. If you want
Yeah.
the band to work, you got to be homies. It's impossible otherwise.
Yeah.
definitely.
I don't have anything good to say, so I'm trying to say as little as possible.
Right.
But we've always been friends with Jay. Jay's
Yeah,
friends with a lot of
like-
people, and we knew that was going to be pretty much the polar opposite.
Yeah,
Like,
since I
Jay knows.
moved here, Jay was just kind of friends with my wife, and we just became friends. And then we were like bowling on Sunday night. Like every Sunday night, we were bowling. We haven't got to go in a while because we've been on tour.
Yeah, Arsenal Bowling, we're doing just fine.
We're looking to go
Hello.
back soon.
We get a welfare check.
Still
soon
alive.
from the
But
bowling alley.
when Tony was in the band, like we go bowling with Jay, and Jay be like, when are you guys gonna like jam with me? And we're like, we want to, but like we kind of got like, we're giving this guy a shot, and he was doing okay at the time. Jay was asking, and then like eventually we had to kick him out, and I like texted Jay like immediately. I was like, you want to start jamming with us? And he was like, yeah, let's fucking go.
Yeah,
And
the other dude didn't bowl. That was really the problem.
See? Not the homie.
you need to
Not
be able
even
to
there.
bowl, bud.
Yeah.
Shober Shabbos.
Yeah.
That's so
Fucking
funny.
dude, let's go bowling.
Yeah, like the being like friends and being able to get along with everybody that you're like spending time with, rehearsing, traveling with, all that stuff. Like you need to be able to just fucking
Oh
be
yeah,
able to shoot the
definitely.
shit and understand what's going on with each other.
Yeah.
I'm really curious for you in terms of getting sober and still like operating in this space creatively. Has it been like harder or easier? Like, what do you write songs about? How do you get your inspiration now? Because like I imagine life feels a little bit different, right?
It feels extremely different because I was like
It's a good question.
drunk like all day, every day for like 10 fucking years. Like
Hell
I
yeah,
didn't go
brother.
to work not drunk. Like if I would get up and go to work, I'd normally be drunk. And then if I would start to sober up around like 10, 11 a.m. and I'd shake and I'd have to like go to my van or my car or whatever I was driving at the time and drink or go to a fucking bar like on my lunch and like
It's like
drink.
true alcoholism.
Yeah,
is
and
debilitating.
and when like my band would go on tour, I would get even crazier than I normally was, like just in normal everyday life. So it was just
Becomes
like,
part of the thing.
oh my god, like it was cool, you know. I'm glad I like got to experience that because some people don't even get to do that. And I survived it, and now I get to do it like in a like sober mindset. Like we go on tour now, and I'm not like they're not having to like drag me down 3 flights of stairs because I'm like so drunk I can't function, and like I'm not trying to like stab people at like gas stations and stuff.
It kind of goes back to what we were saying too with like having the homies around. There's like a little bit of accountability. Like I don't want to get liquor drunk and throwing up around Slammy because I'd be embarrassed.
Yeah, and I mean,
like,
I wouldn't,
you'd actually take care of me. Like
I wouldn't judge you.
I don't want to. But there is like a level of like we kind of when we're out on the road, we have to keep our head on a swivel and
like it's
not just be wasted.
fun. You know, we're doing it for
burden.
fun, but like eventually, like I want it to just be my job. I just want to like
Totally.
I want to be on tour. I want to
it's
be
part
like
of life.
recording records. I want to just play guitar all day and get paid for it. You know?
And I think the other thing too is like, we're doing this for fun, right? But it's nice to be able to actually remember the fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like I've
Not be reminded awkwardly. And
Oh yeah,
you're
yeah.
like,
There's
"Oh,
definitely
that's
been
right.
quite a handful of shows that we've played.
Oh, the
and like,
constant hell show.
and I'm like, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
And like it you know, you can kind of ingest, be like, oh yeah, that's funny, but actually it's kind of scary.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like-
like
Not good.
I have a lot of those. And actually I'd remember a lot because I drank so much it would be like I wouldn't remember like anything. But yeah, like that band I was in, I wrote most of the music and then I would just sing and I would show people. And that was kind of my idea with Razorblade just because that's what I was used to doing. And then no one in Pittsburgh could like learn the riffs I write. I don't think they're that hard. They're a little fast, but everyone's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm like,
Well,
"I
it's
don't know. It's just guitar."
well, I imagine also it's not
humble
only
brag.
like when it comes to guitar, a thing that's really interesting is it's not all about like necessarily the technical ability to play it, but it's like the human feel. And like the way that you approach something, like the way that your pick attack is, or the way that you do like your hand movements and things like that. It could just be hard for some people to emulate things that they don't write.
Definitely.
So it's like maybe they could
definitely.
play it, but it doesn't sound right because they don't have like the same dynamic in their strumming and shit like that.
Yeah, like I've been playing in like crossover, like heavy metal, hardcore, thrash, punk bands for like 10, 12 years now. Like I played guitar in this old band called Vigilant back where I'm from, the Ohio Valley, and it was like the same stuff. Like it was like I have a formula. It's like hardcore part, thrash part, punk part, and like it's just goes together like glue. I think like that's all of our songs. This is just like a simple formula. And like since I started this band, I like kind of taught myself how to solo. So I just kind of like just like
No, that's another part in there. But I know writing songs with him, I know the formula now.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
oh yeah, it's great.
when's the hardcore part coming?
Great, now everyone knows the formula.
When's the punk part?
That's patented. You guys can't steal that.
Don't tell them the secret ingredient.
No, like I don't know. Everyone probably knows that. Fucking
I just try to follow with what you're doing. And I took like a big break from playing bass. And when we met, I was trying to do vocals for a punk thing that was going nowhere fast, really, but it was fun to do. I knew I had to like do something as like, I don't know, a project or a way of getting out. I've had like personal, just weird music, drum beat stuff. But when we met, it was like, oh, we could actually combine forces here a little bit. And eventually I was like, I'll just start playing bass again. it worked.
It's worked out very well.
Yeah,
I didn't do a very good job of telling that story, but
the secret sauce really is
waiting
just
for you to
finding
chime
like
in.
the right people.
Oh, yeah.
Genuinely, and like people that like understand the vision of what you're trying to do and are just like down to just like have a good time. Like it's really that simple.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of people will fucking overcomplicate it.
That's the one part of the story that I did leave out was I had some stupid lyrics written and Slammy's just like, let me see those. And I thought he was just going to like read them. And I was like, oh, I'm not so insecure that okay, here you go, bud. And, you know, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, can I give it a try? And, you know, like little Nate was playing guitar and you're just like, yeah, what about this? And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's another way to do it. And I was like, all right, if he can make it sound like that, like, what are you up to? And then
I got the formula, baby. Like that jam was when I was like trying to start Razorblade, and I was trying to show our
like a physical
friend
band.
little Nate my songs on guitar, and then I brought this kid that I work with, who's a mechanic at my job, Michael. Shout out. I brought him because he plays drums, and I was like, "You're gonna play drums in this thrash band," but he's like a deathcore kid.
Sure.
And so he just like didn't know what to fucking do. And he's like a little younger and he hasn't been in a lot of bands. So he was like kind of nervous and just like not playing drums. And I'm like, give me the drumsticks. I'm like, just do this. And then all of a sudden I'm like jamming with like the
I was
other
still getting in the
guys
swing
in
of things
his
too, so
band.
I didn't have anything to give him. I'm like,
I'm like
gotta
playing guitar, I'm playing drums,
the
I'm like
drums.
grabbing the mic, and everyone's like, what the fuck is this guy doing? I'm like,
yeah,
You have the vision.
yeah, like we played a show in Cleveland like a couple weeks ago, and our friends have this improv band called 1000 times Salvia.
it's 2000.
Well, it's 1000, it's 2000.
I think it's 2000 X Salvia.
He changes it up all the time. But
I might be wrong.
our buddy Joe Bad Taste that plays guitar in this band, he was like, does anyone play drums? And I was like, I do. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, play drums for my band tonight. And I was like, okay. And we just like ripped this like 20-minute set, and like everyone's like moshing
you
and
would
going
never
crazy.
know it was improvised.
And
Yeah,
like
it was sick.
people were like,
Very, very good.
did you guys practice? I was like, no, dude, I haven't played drums in like 6 months. Like
Those guys are real musicians
I just-
too. 'cause
I just
that's
have
the
it,
proof.
like-
You can just play
Yeah.
with anybody.
they're like, dude, that actually sounded pretty good.
Uh-huh.
It was fun though, yeah. And I was like, bet y'all didn't know I played drums, did you?
Yeah, people were getting down.
Yeah, I think that it goes to show like how easy it is sometimes to just really like overthink when you're like writing a song and in the studio type
Right.
thing. Like I think that I could say that just from the perspective of someone that plays in a band that I think definitely overthinks everything that we do. But you know, I wish we could write songs a little bit quicker. But hey, man,
Right,
you know,
yeah.
we do things our own way, and it happens eventually. We're still ripping.
No, you guys are sick.
You know,
Like,
it's hard. It's like I think that, you know, when you're dealing with all of this like intricate shit, all these like fast riffs and weird
right.
drum changes and things like that, it's like we want to make sure that like everybody knows what the fuck's going on.
Right.
Because
You
it's
don't
like
want it to
I
get
want things to be
too-
loose. It's like the
too
weird
wild.
The weird thing with like what we're doing is like it's like we try to be raw and thrashy. Our drummer
Yes.
comes from a punk background and all that stuff, but it's like it also needs to be just tight enough that it doesn't get sloppy. Because the
Right.
guitar parts are so fast that if it gets a little bit off, it becomes mush.
Right.
But if it's too tight, I don't want it to sound like a fucking like robot music, which is like a big problem that I have with so much modern heavy music now. Is it's like all robot music,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
and it's like really hard for me to relate to it.
I think I'm the last one to figure out that most of the drums for like a lot of slam and brutal stuff is like completely just programmed.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
totally.
just
I'm like, that does make sense. 'cause
Yeah.
It's 500 beats per minute.
It's like it's
I
it's
guess
cool.
so,
It definitely has like its place. Like
yeah.
everything, you know, like there's just so much different shit out there. But
We find a lot of cool stuff with
I-
our mistakes.
I get that. And like the beauty in like Razorblade is like we're like a we're a crossover band. We're a punk band, but we're also a metal band. And I make that joke like all the time when we get to the punk shows. I'm like, we're not a punk band, we're a metal band. Like we need to make a couple dollars. You gotta buy a t-shirt or something. Like
Yeah.
like we're not
Kids-
doing this
kids
to
will still,
like
they'll
fight the
mosh,
government.
They'll
Like
two-step. They'll
you know,
it's
we're
all in
punky, we're
there. It's
sloppy,
fun.
but also we're like, you know, we're doing this.
Yeah,
just like fucking off.
It's really interesting, and I find it's like incredibly. It's a really interesting conversation to have when you're dealing with bands in like a DIY underground. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to attack you there. Jesus Christ, fist fight. No, I didn't like. Whenever you're dealing with those bands, but you're somebody that is trying to do this, like you said, I want to be able to make money playing guitar.
Oh yeah.
And it's like there's that threshold of like when does like it stop being DIY, and also like how far is DIY? What's the threshold for DIY? I remember like being in like this band years ago, and when like I was like, we should stop selling T-shirts for $10. Everybody looked at me like I was a psychopath. And I was like, I was like, it's like we're not making any money. It was like it's not about the money. I'm like, you're right, but also like if it's not about the money, why bother making the shirts at all?
We kind of get I mean, we get around that in different ways.
It's hard,
like,
right?
Slammy also makes leather and other things that are kind of adjacent to thrash and punk and stuff. So there is. This just like our merch table. It's gonna be QVC for a second. But thank you. Oh, dude, I shouldn't know you even have that. Could have talked about that ahead of time. But you know what I mean? Like, there's just ways that like we're still like, we need to make money, and you can only buy so many T-shirts and all that kind of stuff. But we're trying to work with the fact that like we all live in a fucking system we don't want to live in. That's like completely consumer driven.
Yep.
And we've all been pretty poor. I mean, middle class at best, like our whole lives. So it's like, well, grinding and sort of selling part of your own, skills or whatever is sort of part of it.
Totally.
But
yeah, like I definitely tell like all the
that.
younger bands that ask me, like, oh, how do you tour? Like, what do you do? And I always tell them like, have good merch. Even if you're not touring, you're just playing like shows, have good merch. Like, I'm always like the basics, like T-shirts and hats and hoodies, whatever. And I'm like, I make leather and jewelry and shit. I sell that at the table. My wife will sell stuff at our merch table, like, because my wife's a tattoo artist and makes all sorts of crazy shit like I do. And she'll sell that shit at the merch table. And it brings like a different, you don't just have like a shirt.
It's like a little bazaar came to town.
Yeah, like
because it's like we're about that life.
We try to think of like different crazy merch ideas all the time. We have thongs, like
we were selling out of thongs.
Hot item.
Ohio. Shout out.
Who else has thongs?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like utilizing your resources, utilizing your creativity.
Yeah,
and merch is huge. And like with like with Greywalker, it's like we've been able to do so much stuff just from selling T-shirts.
Yeah,
we just like paid for recording an album just because we sold some T-shirts.
We bought a van from 2 tours we did.
Yeah,
and I mean it is a piece of shit,
but it's a van.
It was a really bad
I made it for 2 tours.
We did 2
Like
big
2 times,
tours
2 trips.
to pay for it. We took it on 2 small tours. It's getting worked on.
It broke down
Michael,
at a get-go down the street. We were so lucky.
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
that was
That could have been very far away.
But Michael from the earlier story, he's fixing the van. So shout out to Michael and his band
Right.
Ronin. They're tight. Just wanted to shout out. But and it's like discouraging, but I'm like, you know what? We'll fix it. We'll figure it out. And you just got to keep going. Like when the van broke down, I was like, oh my fucking God.
Yeah,
and I'm like, all right, we got to just do more tours in the Ford to make money to fix the van.
Money is real.
In the same way that you had said when somebody asks you like how do you do touring and stuff like that, you mentioned merch.
Yeah,
I think another thing, the most important thing anybody needs to do anything is just to genuinely want to do it.
Yeah,
you really need to. Do you actually give a fuck?
Right.
Yeah.
Like if I ask if you give a fuck and you hesitate before saying yes, then what's the you're not going to be able to do it at that level.
Yeah,
because the amount of shit that you're going to have to
so
deal with
much can go wrong.
Yeah.
And if you don't,
you got to be willing.
If you're
to
not able to laugh about it, you are fucked.
Like
I
can tell you horror stories of
flat
like
tires, blah blah blah.
of my old band Uncle Slammy. Like, dude, we had like this van that I bought off my homies that lived in a couple towns over, this band called Dive Bomb, really good band. Anyway, I bought their old van off them when I lived in Columbus, and I was like living out of it for a while. Like it was sad, you know. They took it on a lot of tours, but it got us through quite a bit of tours. But like our first tour, we were driving. Oh, where were we? I think we were in like Georgia. A tire popped. We didn't have a tire iron. We didn't have a jack. Like all we had was like a box of booze and like a gun and like some weed. And we like had to like
Essentials.
figure it out. And then like the radiator broke in like Mississippi. And then we're in fucking Florida, and the like exhaust snapped. It was held up by like a piece of wire that was like paper thin, and it snapped and sliced the tire in half. And we'd already used our spare tire in Georgia. So we like post online. We're like, hey, we're in Florida. We have zero money. We're like driving to this show right now. Our tire popped. We broke the other one. We don't have a jack. We don't have nothing. The band Dive Bomb that I bought the van from was 20 minutes away, also in Florida. They came. They were like not idiots like us, and they had like, you know, like a tire iron and a jack and like normal people shit. Money, like, so they like took us to Walmart. They bought us a tire. They're like,
We're becoming normal people.
Yeah,
We're
and, like,
trying to plan ahead for something.
well, it was funny. Like last time I saw them, I was like, I got a jack in the car, boys, and a spare tire. And they're like, holy shit, Sam, you're growing up.
Look at you.
It was funny. They're good boys.
You know, what's an experience if you can't grow from it and learn?
Exactly. Like I told them, we have AAA now. Like so, like I ain't fucking around no more. I even have insurance on that van. That's insane.
I just wish it worked.
Yeah, I mean it does. I've been driving it to work like every now and then, but like
This is becoming
the brakes are fucked up
Yeah.
and like a bunch of
I get it.
shit. But we'll fix it. You know?
I had I don't know what the fuck happened, but I was recently driving from Brooklyn from a show. From Brooklyn to Northern Virginia.
Oh God.
And
New York City driving is the worst.
The transfer case on my car cracked in the middle of Maryland.
I don't even know what a transfer case is.
I don't know
Oh, it's
anything
about
about cars. I can't wait
$6,000.
for this
That's what it is.
conversation.
I don't.
man.
I can't count that high.
And so yeah, I had to like leave my fucking car in Maryland and rent a car and drive back to Pittsburgh and then keep the rental and then drive back to Maryland to get my fucking car back. It was a nightmare. But it happened.
That sucks.
But hey,
just for rock and roll, baby.
Yeah.
Rock and roll.
Yep. Damn straight.
exactly.
We made it though.
Yeah, you're here. We're both here.
We're
we
all
made
here.
it. We made it out of the shit.
Yeah,
so.
but it is a nightmare where it's like,
When it's happening.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's very inconvenient.
I have too many stories.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say,
You just don't shit.
I have a bunch. I had quick story. I had a plane ticket on 9/11. Whenever 9/11 happened, I'm gonna make this about 9/11.
Yeah. but
Okay.
he always brings this up.
And we immediately had to rent a car and drive from Boston back home to like Pittsburgh, basically. But it was like one of the craziest days. You guys remember 9/11?
Yeah.
Never forget.
That's just crazy.
Oh yeah, I didn't forget.
I was just testing you. I had to bring it around.
So in terms of like, okay, so like Razor Band, a band. Razorblade is a band, not Razor Band.
Razor
Let's
Band.
talk about Razor Bands for a
Razor
second,
Band.
because we
Yeah.
kind of do have a blade theory when it comes to bands. Is like
Am I allowed to hit this?
Yeah,
right here?
you're fine.
I've been doing it, obviously. I'm talking about steel beams over here. But no,
Oh,
yeah,
dude, be getting all the sound
see you
effects.
later. No, we're not getting canceled. We've talked about this. No, there's a lot of good blade bands, like Vicious Blade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vicious Blade. They're good
Vicious
friends
Blade,
of ours.
Concealed Blade,
Yes.
Yep.
So, yeah, we've been trying to put together
a blade
show
show.
to showcase all the
Adam
blades.
said their guitar, the
knife case.
the Concealed Blades guitar player just had a kid, so he's like, I don't know, and I was like, all right, fine.
Bring the baby.
Yeah, I say that all
It'll
the time.
come
Like, just
together
bring the
eventually.
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can always just be a smart ass, be like, even cockroaches have kids, big deal.
That's a good one.
Come on, let's
Whoa,
go.
that's a really good
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got some good ones in here. Hold on one second.
hit me.
I'm gonna move over. I'll save it for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll say something
Okay.
stupid and then
No, it's
Oh yeah.
inevitable.
They'll be coming out. So an unfortunate side effect of like when you want to be in a community that kind of attracts degenerates.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's hard to like sometimes be like mature or like responsible in this world.
Yeah, like I get annoyed when people do like degenerate ass or dumbass shit. So, like sometimes they'll do some dumbass shit, and I'm like, "What are you guys doing?" And then I'm like, "Man, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever. Like I'd have been doing that. I would have been way worse. Like I was such a little fucker."
It's funny too. It's just like it's hard as you get older. Not that age really has anything to do with it, but it's just like, okay, I've had enough of this shit.
Right? Yeah.
And like the other thing too that's interesting about these communities is like it attracts youth, and it gets to a point where it's like, am I really still wanting to play in basements with 19-year-olds drinking?
Right.
Like I'm almost fucking 40 now.
It's a
like
combination
it's
of, like,
weird. It's
yeah.
like I don't have a problem with that. I was in your position. I support this scene.
Right.
I think it's
Right.
important, but does it make sense for me and all my old ass friends to still be doing this shit?
Yeah. I respect your
No, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
you get to make your own mistakes, but I don't want to watch that.
right?
Yeah.
You know, and
guys
so
are
it's
like,
an age experience
and like
thing.
you guys are more like just a metal band,
Totally. Yeah.
say old.
and you guys are a little older, like,
Oh, I knew it.
and like you said, like you have kids or someone in your band has kids.
Yeah. We have like kids and families
Like
and
so,
lives. And
yeah,
shit, all
like
that,
none of us have that.
Whoop-de-doo.
So ooh, we're cockroaches have
Well,
kids.
yeah, even cockroaches have kids. Exactly.
No, but like, so like,
We have animals.
and we're like a metal punk band. So I feel like we can kind of teeter that like fence of like some days we're playing like basement shows. And I'm like, do we really like? Why am I still doing this?
Or-
But then they're really awesome, and I'm like, this is why I'm still doing
Yes,
this. Like,
I mean, there's definitely we've done like, I mean, throughout the course of our existence, you know what I mean. We've done plenty of like basement and DIY shit. We're not above anything.
Oh, no,
you
no,
know?
definitely
And
not.
like, but it's just like it's still like a thing that I notice sometimes.
Yeah.
It's been a while. I think that like, especially like post COVID, when like everything's come back, I think now we're way more picky about the shows that we play.
right? Yeah.
Just because, I mean, there's like a lot less options now than there was then.
There
It's even harder for
really
people that are
is.
doing like alternative, anything alt. You know what I mean? Like if you're any sort of loud guitar music, it's really hard for
Loud
you to find a place to
guitar
play.
music. I love that. Yeah, 'cause it's
That's a great description.
I was just talking to, I think Ben from this band called Acid Mass from Cincinnati. Y'all should definitely check out Acid Mass. He's like a one-man like thrash metal band. It's sick. But anyway, we were talking the other day, and we were both like, it's just loud guitar music. Like everyone's so cliquish, And I get like you have your friends, and you kind of got like your. I like hardcore. I like beatdown. I like
your scene.
death metal. You got
Yeah.
your thing, but like we can all hang out. And like sometimes I feel like everyone don't want to hang out. I'm
Well,
like,
yeah,
just just fucking hang out with each other. Shut up.
There's
It's
strength.
the same.
There's strength in community, and what makes community
Yeah.
great, diversity. So if you have a bunch of bands playing the same, if you like scale it back and like you just have a bunch of bands doing the same kind of thing
Right.
through a show, it's like, okay, well, there's no way to actually grow this.
Exactly.
And like, as far as Greywalker goes, it's like we're a metal band. And like if people are like, well, what kind of metal? I'm like, okay, if you want to be specific, we're like melodic death metal. But I
yeah.
just like to say we're a metal band. It's loud, it's fast,
Right.
I'm yelling a bunch. No, nobody's singing, nobody's pretty.
nobody's
That's it.
pretty.
That's what we do.
Bunch of ugly fuckers.
Yeah. A bunch of old ugly fuckers playing loud, fast shit.
Same.
So
Like,
it's not that different.
yeah, it's
like
not.
You
Yeah.
could pick
Except
them.
one of us is pretty.
Who? You are the pretty one.
Thanks.
Excellent.
Yes.
Yes.
That's not
Looks
the button I
like
meant
Wayne's
to hit.
basement.
I switched it. It's all
This
good.
isn't Wayne's basement.
Bill and Ted.
Hell yeah, dude. How about like some of the SoundCloud like rap shows that we were playing, and we were the only ones that showed up? So it was the coolest though. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, we had a lot of fun.
So that was when Tony was our drummer.
I wasn't in the band yet.
That was before Jay was in the band. We got asked to do like one since you've been in the band, and we didn't do it for
your sake.
I mean, I'm down.
I mean, yeah, no,
It was fun as hell.
So our friend Emo John, he is this young like rap kid from Well, he doesn't even live in Polish Hill.
No,
he
lives on my couch sometimes.
Yeah, I was gonna say he like lives on Jay's couch sometimes. I don't know, but he's
He
like
calls me Uncle Jay. Shout out to fucking John. That's my little nephew.
no, he's the homie for sure. I just saw him the other day. And then he was like, what's up this weekend? I was
Well,
like,
he got us on these shows.
Yeah, but anyway, I digest. Yeah, he just loves our band, and he's like, you guys should.
Boy, hit him with something. All right.
Nah, you're good.
Okay.
I was just
and
We're ready though.
queuing
Say
it
the
up.
thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was like, you guys are sick, and he asked us to play these like fucking rap shows, and we were like the only band, and it was just like 8 rappers and us, and it was just so funny.
The best part was like we're the only ones that showed up with like
equipment.
anything really.
They
I
were
think
just
there
like-
might have been a PA because they're like, well, we're gonna have to rap. And I
We
don't know
had
if
to
they
bring-
thought about it much farther than that because we had to set up
We had to bring our PA
the
because
one
like,
spot we had to wire.
One.
We had to wire electricity in to get like a.
He had
we
it in, like,
found a
shed.
lamp
I don't even know what was
in a-
going on. It was in a fucking
in a
shed.
broom closet, and we're like, well, we're gonna need some light. Like it was like some like the beginning of time type shit.
It was great.
And
though.
so
It
then I was like,
fun.
well, on my bass, I had a bass combo amp. Like
Yeah.
we were just I had like a little Boulder Rogue amp or whatever. And I said, well, they can't blow out my amp because it's kind
yeah,
of a
we
piece
were
of
like
shit. It's
we were
fine.
like running sound for these
So,
kids rapping.
All their beats were coming out of my bass amp, and then it was our turn. And it reminded me a lot of if you've seen the Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie in the intro, when there's suddenly just like I think it's Mastodon.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like, and it's like, if you liked everything you saw before, you might hate this.
He would say that too. He'd be like, "You're gonna fucking.
You're
hate
gonna
this."
hate this. Your kids are gonna love it.
My favorite part is like all the kids would be like doing their SoundCloud rap shit, and they'd be moshing for the SoundCloud rap, and then we would play, and they'd all just kind of like stand there
Like step
and like.
towards the wall.
I think they enjoy like some of them
And then,
enjoyed
yeah,
it,
obviously.
like because like we
got asked back to do other things, too.
and
It
I'd be
was
like,
good.
you could come closer, like that moshing thing you were doing, like you could do that to this, like it's like you don't have to. I'm just letting you know. I don't know if you knew.
That's
I don't know
how
if
it
you're
is now,
privy.
though. There's so much
Well, yeah, it's
crossover.
not their scene, so
There
Yeah.
is a lot of crossover with like Ghost Main and all that kind of like kids go fucking wild to just about
Yeah.
anything now. And
It's about
God
attitude
bless 'em.
and energy.
Like,
Yeah.
It's not so
yeah.
much about like
we are
genre.
literally here for it.
kids just like
They help us
everything,
out a lot
you
too
know?
because they're not spending all their money on booze and drugs like idiots, and they come up and they're like, "Wow, I can buy something like a record, a T-shirt. Maybe I'll actually buy a record player or something." You know,
Yeah.
it's like I don't know. A lot of people don't sell tapes and all that kind of shit in other types of music. Like other genres don't really give a shit about like analog and all that.
Oh, for sure.
But we're always like excited to be putting out like. To us, it's kind of like a product that
It's
we
part of
made.
the
It
culture.
becomes
It's
physical.
part of the
There's not a
loud
lot of
guitar music
physicality to
culture.
SoundCloud.
loud guitar music culture.
whether it's punk, rock,
I'm showing
metal.
my age so bad.
Yeah, I mean,
you're
it's-
old as shit.
Hey,
Fucking right. I guess
I'm fucking ancient, dog.
No,
good.
you're like
Don't
25.
let this
34.
young
I
face
don't care.
fool
I'll
you.
say it.
No,
I
no.
wish I was 25. I wish I was 35. To be
Me
honest
too.
with you.
You will be.
You're 30. You're 30. You're lying.
No, I'm 38.
Hey, me too.
Jay's 38.
Hey, cheers.
Yeah, I'm 34. I'm not ashamed of it.
We got the baby face,
I'm 30. I'm the youngest.
and he looks 45.
Yeah. my liver is like fucking 97.
Sammy's been going through some like Amish grooming
my
tactics.
wife hates this beard. It's driving her insane.
There's a beard and then there's just neglect.
Yeah, it's like
Another band we like.
It gets all big. Shout out to
Neglect
from Kentucky, Lexington. Lexington scene is fucking awesome.
We have the
Lexington
best
rules.
time. We make such a fucking trip of it.
Our friend Nick King. Actually, we didn't even
Shout out Nick.
mention the story of after we kicked out our dumbass drummer Tony. Nick ended up playing drums for us for a fucking fest he booked in Lexington.
We couldn't drop it
because Jay was going to learn the set and we didn't have a practice space. So I was like, dude,
it was like less than a week.
Show my new guy this set because I can't find anywhere for us to practice.
We show up in Lexington.
And he was
Nick,
like, send me some songs, come down a day early and we'll jam.
Yeah.
And we
hung out for a day and knocked it
learned
out
like
of the
4
park.
songs and we headlined the fest. And like kids were going crazy. Like people were fucking stage diving and crowd surfing.
Yeah. He was doing so much double duty that day too.
Yeah, and he's in his own band, like Neglect, and he runs the Green Lantern. He's a great fucking dude.
Cool.
That's the boy.
We have a lot
Love you, Nick.
we have a lot more good stories than we do bad ones on the road.
Oh my god,
I will say that we're very lucky
we have so
in
many
this whole how many bad things can happen type of like thinking.
so many cool
We got
fucking
very
friends
lucky.
out
Yeah.
there. Like
Shout out
so
to
many.
Luck.
Stop saying that.
So many silly things happen. We've definitely had a show where I remember piggybacking off your SoundCloud rapper show.
Calm jar.
Come jar.
I almost wore
The
my
homies
jar
love
shirt.
Cleveland.
Oh, we would have been wearing the same shirt.
What shirt do I have on?
Actually, we have different variations of the same band
my
shirt.
2000
Oh, see, Cleveland.
Cleveland. What?
That's one.
It's 2.
The improv band.
That could be
Yeah.
a 1 or a 2.
I thought it was 1.
They
I'm
changed
so
it.
mad that
They-
the shirt doesn't fucking.
Yeah, they shout out Joe Bad Taste. He's crazy. They're looking for a permanent drummer though. Anyway, I want to hear your story though.
Anyways, I was just going to tell you a story about how Gray Walker played a show with a bunch of Juggalo rappers in Toledo.
Oh, that sounds
Yes, in
awful.
Toledo, Ohio. Yes.
Juggalo.
And
Damn.
also,
Yes.
another thing that happened at that show was around the holidays. So there was a Christmas tree that was like in the room on this off by the side of the stage. And I don't remember what happened, but so we were on the road. We were doing a bunch of dates and we had hoodies that just got finished printing and they were in Pittsburgh. So we had some homies from Pittsburgh picked up the hoodies and drove out to Toledo
Oh wow,
Oh,
to
that's
bring
awesome.
us the hoodies so we could have them for the rest of the shows.
that's
somebody-
a good homie. That's a good homie.
Yeah, shout outs to John.
John, we love you.
But John
That's
or
a pro
somebody that
move.
John was with during our set somehow got into a fight with somebody at the show.
Yes.
And they got like knocked into the Christmas tree. And the
yeah.
Christmas tree like
Yes.
fell over during our set. And it's just like
Sounds amazing.
Yes.
at this
Oh,
show
my
where it's like a
God.
bunch of Juggalo rappers. It was just very silly.
Oh my, I love that. We had a fight last night.
Oh, that's a good story.
We had a fight last night at the show that I booked. It was real funny because it was like a young hardcore kid.
Yeah.
My homie Joey, he plays guitar in Chump. If you've never heard them, they're pretty cool. But they played, and then Princess was playing, and they go.
blame Princess.
Yeah, I do. Like the
playing
Noah
loud,
writes those
aggressive music.
really like just nasty ass fucking beatdown riffs, and one's going, and there's these Oogle Crusters at the show, and they were actually very polite all night. They came up and they asked if they could pay half at the door, and I was like, you know what? And they were like, hey, we have some beers. Like, we don't have it. Obviously, we don't have enough to buy.
Another thing, they also
Like, is
came
it
up and
okay?
they set down their bags and they had so much on them that I swear it looked like someone was like about to start camping.
Oh yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Like they had to like roll out and everything. And I was like in my mind, like I just
And they-
started
they were
working out
so
like them
polite.
popping a tent and
One of them was like,
Moshing in
"Oh,
it.
I've seen you guys before. Like Razorblada's awesome. You guys are sick, So they're being very polite. And one of them's just he's also doing the karate stuff, because Cruster dudes don't do that. and I maybe got excited. And he's like, I want to try karate hardcore. So he's out there. And then Joey, who's a young savant of this shit, like this boy practices karate moves in the mirror. You know, I used to do that when I was a kid. So I understand.
Taekwondo lessons
I'm
as a child.
not fucking old. I'm at hardcore shows and I'm like the metal punk guy now. And I'm like, that kid practices, that kid don't practice. Like, so they get into a fight. And they're wrapped up, and they bump into the merch tables and like break our.
They broke our skeleton.
We have
hand.
a skeleton hand. We hang chains off of, and I'm not even mad about it. You know, they were having fun. They had too much fun, and I ran up and I just pulled them away from each other. I said no, and they stopped.
We don't do that.
Then they stopped.
And then I talked to both of them afterward, and the crusted dude's like, fucking Karate Kid, and I was like, I understand. I was like, you were out there too. Like, I was like, we
Slammy
can all
broke it
punch
up
each
without
other,
kicking
but don't
anybody
punch
out.
each
That was
other
pretty
too
good.
much. Like, have a little bit of fun, just not too much. And they had a little too much fun. And then Joe was just like, yeah, I don't know. I was moshing and you got all mad. And I was
Slammy, you haven't gotten in a lot of fights though, huh?
when I was
you're not like
younger,
a fighter.
a little bit, but not a lot.
You just
know?
deal with fights.
Yeah, I'm like just too old, tired for that now. Like,
Yeah.
my
I've started a
my
lot of
wife
stupid
beats me
fights.
up enough.
There's
That's
also like
not true.
what is there? I mean,
She just wrestles me and whoops my ass.
I mean,
Yeah, you're a baby.
I wouldn't want to fight Avery.
No.
With-
Avery's technically in charge. That's somebody in Razorblade who's just too busy to be in Razorblade.
with
Yeah,
with
But
the exception
she helps a
of
lot.
She does.
some certain social situations, it's very much like, why are we actually going to get into a fight at a show? Because somebody
Right.
like,
'Cause it feels
bumps
good.
into you or something
Right.
like that. You know what I mean? It's usually over nothing.
I
Yeah.
think
Really.
people don't have a lot of, it's not to be like Fight Club about it, but like some people don't have a lot of like, ways of getting aggression out,
Oh, sure.
or maybe they're just pent up and then they see chaotic shit and then they kind of like use it as a way like, well, this is my chance to punch someone in the fucking face. And it's like, that's really not what it's about.
Yeah,
No.
we've
Like
had.
technically these kids are dancing in a really chaotic way.
There's been.
And
There's,
you're gonna go fight a 16-year-old. Like
Totally.
it's pretty crazy.
yeah, there's
You
there's
know,
been
like,
some people
not a good
that
move.
like we've known over the years that like where it's like we have friends that are like they're like we can call them like our like Lamb of God, Pantera
Yes.
type
Yes.
friends.
Good.
We went and saw that show actually.
You know what I
We-
mean? Like they're like those type of guys.
I
right?
love those bands.
Yeah.
I
Like,
took
those
I hate
Slammy.
great.
Jay had no interest in going.
Yeah.
Shout out Jay.
Dude,
But you know, like
I
they're
mean-
they're not like underground
went.
dudes. They're not DIY.
Lamb of
dudes.
God
right.
kind of blew
You
my
know,
mind. I didn't
yeah.
know they were that good live.
I mean, like, I grew up listening to that shit. Like,
I didn't
like
listen to
in
Lamb of
like,
God, really.
dude, when I was in 7th grade, I would come home every day from my mom sent me to private school because I was a little fucker. And I'd have like a blazer and I had to get my hair cut like a certain length and I fucking hated it. And I'd
you
come
don't
home
have to admit this.
and I'd put on Cowboys from Hell and I'd like rip my shirt off and I'd like pretend to be Phil Anselmo.
Yeah.
Like,
This explains so much.
yeah, dude,
Yeah.
in 7th grade. Like,
Yeah.
I remember being in like 6th grade and having like a Gigi Allen CD like in my like Walkman like at Catholic school.
See, that's
Like,
where we differ.
how did I even get that?
We differ in that. I think in 7th or 8th grade, I wanted to be Wes Borland for Halloween. That's the guitarist, the Limp Bizkit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And my parents actually let me do it.
Hell
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
I would have beat you up.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I think that what's funny about like
My
our like
parents
people
rock
that
and
we
rollers.
know that like those bands, right? So they're not
Yeah.
part of the underground culture, right?
But
Or
yeah.
like they don't have a lot of show etiquette.
They never went
sometimes
past that.
They will come
you know what
out
I mean?
to one of our shows.
Yeah,
And
and
I've
it's-
had like people that we know where it's like they get there and like nobody's even really moshing, but they like take their shirt off and start going like like they're all like fucking like it's like an
yeah.
over
Like convulsing or something.
They're just like overstepping like it's a
Yeah.
metal show and it's like yeah, but like you got to
There-
feel out the energy. Not
there
every
was-
metal show is like
I feel like
a mosh fest.
That's a perfect example of the guy I was thinking of, where it's like, man, this guy works real hard, dude. He does not get a vacation. Like,
Yeah.
his younger sister took him out to the punk show, and he's just like, I like flogging Molly. You know,
I like
it's
flogging
all right,
Molly.
dude, relax. You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's also like not a lot of fights at shows anymore, and like our buddy Samoan Rob. Shout out fucking Samoan Rob. He's co-owner of No Class in Cleveland. Best venue in Cleveland, in my opinion. Cleveland's amazing. All the venues are great, but that's my favorite. Anyway, he like talks a lot about stuff like this, and he like just makes like Instagram videos of just like shit about hardcore and punk and metal. And one recently was like, there's not a lot of fights at shows anymore. Like, and I remember growing up like, oh my God, we used to get into fights at shows all the time.
I used to see a lot of fights at shows when there was a lot more like cross genre.
Yeah.
Like I remember when like there was like that whole like when shit like when like all the like Poison the Well, Every Time I Die, 18 Visions, like when those bands started coming around and they were playing shows with like Hatebreed or Strife or like all that or Crisis
like
and those worlds coming together. There was a lot of like social miscommunication.
I was at a lot of those shows too growing up. And it was just like, oh my God.
The like VFW shows.
I remember getting kicked in the balls at a Poison the Well show one time, Yesterdays in Wheeling, West Virginia.
I like Poison the Well.
It was cool.
Was it like Horse the Band or something?
Oh yeah, I remember
like,
those guys.
Some of the just like really, there was that literally like 8-bit kind of stuff was coming out. Like, I don't know, growing up in the scene like 2000 and
it was really interesting, because there was a lot of younger bands that started to kind of take in like those aspects of hardcore, but bring it more into like the MySpace era. Like that's like Horse the Band.
That's a good way to put it,
then you had like a bunch of other bands whose
they'd be
names I don't
playing
want
it
to say out
like,
loud. It's like some Voldemort Harry Potter shit. We don't talk about that. We don't say those names.
You can't
But
say
it'd be
his
like
name. Voldemort.
I already know what you're going to say. It's like, oh no, that era is too much.
But I mean, like, and it was like those shows were very interesting.
Yeah,
at that
It
time.
kind of reminds me of what's happening now because there is so much like you. I don't know. It's because the internet. Like you can know a lot about how many different micro genres and things like that. And then,
but I feel like it's a good thing though that kids aren't getting into fights as much these days. Like the fight last night, that's the first fight I've like seen at a show in like forever. And I mean, it wasn't even like an actual fight. They were just kind of like, and then I was like, stop.
I think that big camper was gonna bear that guy. And
I mean, it would have just. I wasn't gonna let. I was like, no.
We're like, no.
Not happening. This isn't 2000 and whatever year.
See, we say that now, but then whenever we're up there, we'll be like, all right, let's see.
Get crazy, kill each other.
See some blood.
That's all satire.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just have fun. Just not too much. Calm down. Like,
all right, Dad.
Yeah, I'm dad now. Like, it's, like, I remember being like 17 and being at a show, and a dude from like, that looked like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo was just like at a show at the bar we all hung out at Yesterdays, which was like, just like the filthiest, like, think of Rock Room, but like just more hardcore, like, instead of punk, like beat down hardcore.
Yeah,
like
I remember Yesterdays.
Yeah. Oh, you went? Oh, holy shit.
Yeah.
No way. Like, I grew up there. Like, it's why I am the way I am. Like,
sure.
And dude, this dude, like, that looked like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Like, he's probably the first show he's ever been to, like, hits me in the head. And I was like, nope. And I, like, grabbed him and, like, start fucking punching him. And then, like, 8 people are punching him. And then the whole bar, like, erupts into a fight. And we're all, like, just beating the shit out of each other. And that's how it was back then. But, like, I was also a kid, and I was drunk.
Yeah. I think that, with the internet and people being more aware of different like social scenes. Yeah. I think people know what to expect now at concerts. I think the etiquette's a little bit more understood.
Oh yeah.
It is. And I think
there's
like
lots of new like hardcore bands where they, kids are like completely doing full front flips into the crowd.
Yeah.
Already swinging on the way in.
It was like the Cruster dude just wasn't quite
than we were. Come on.
Privy to what was going on. And the young hardcore kid, if you challenge them, then you have to do a karate duel. So,
dance off.
Yeah. It's like, I'm not going to back down.
That would be really cool to do like a break-in, but it's like hardcore.
Oh, that'd be sick.
Maybe not.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Dude.
Yeah, I mean,
too young for that.
Sorry.
I'm so fucking old.
So one thing that we've actually not talked about, and I'm curious just to get your take on this,
Let's hear it.
is in terms of being a band. We've talked a lot about playing a lot of fucking shows.
Oh, yeah.
We've talked a bit about merch, a little bit about business, money, cars. Things suck, things break down.
Oh, yeah.
One thing that we just haven't chatted about is like recording.
Oh,
What's going on?
So, actually, Noah, the guitar player in Princess, he records all of our stuff. And, I mean, it's great. Like, we did Raw Masticators with him, which is like our EP that came out in April.
I'm not the
It was like 6-7 months ago. And then we just put out 2 singles, and they were all recorded by Noah, and he does a great job.
Hell yeah.
He just like records us live and then pretty much keeps their stuff, and then I'll go back over and like redo all the guitars and my vocals just to like really tighten it up, and it sounds fucking amazing. So
Yeah, we share a building with the practice space, so that makes things easy to like coordinate.
we
too.
literally just
So
like walk upstairs with
another
like
pro
our
tip
heads and
is-
our cymbals.
Yeah.
don't be afraid
And
to
it's-
share what you got.
Yeah,
and-
he's actually they're moving out of there. They told me last night, and moving into him and Zach's basement at their house. But their house is like 7 minutes from your house, so it'll still be very easy for us. And literally like we can record like 3 songs in 3 hours, like
Yeah.
easy. Like
we
probably
only
the,
do like 1 or 2 takes.
probably the
probably tops.
easiest band I've ever done in that sense. I think my old band, like our guitar player recorded us, and it was pretty good, but just like being able, like, because he would like program the drums, which is fine, whatever.
I like that first demo a lot, and that's one of those
well,
times
yeah,
where
well-
I actually didn't know that the drums were programmed because I just
Well,
I
yeah,
don't know.
that's really.
listen to too much
I'm talking
electronic
about
music, like, I
Uncle
don't care.
Slammy, but yes, when I started Razorblade, I didn't even know these guys. I guess I should say that I never even met them when I recorded the Razorblade demo, like the first one we have out.
Like a proof of concept.
Yeah, pretty much. Because like I said, my old band kind of did that, and I wrote everything. So I was like, I'm just gonna write all these songs and then be like, here's these songs, and just see where it goes. And James Becca recorded that. He's the guitar player in Fall 50 Feet, like the
I know
mathcore
James.
band. Yeah, we're from the same area, so
Yeah.
like I've known him forever. Like, good boy. Him and David,
Yeah.
like all those guys.
Yeah.
Love them. Good boys. But yeah, so we did that, and then I slowly met these guys. So that's the original origin story.
Cool. And so as far as like releasing things go, do you have any like desire to put together a whole fucking album and do that whole cycle thing?
Yes. We're working on it right now, actually.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we're actually like, as soon as we leave here, we're going to the practice space and working on a new song.
2 songs.
Yeah, then probably run the set just because we have that show. We have a
Gotta
show
run the
this
set.
Yeah.
Gotta run the
Sunday.
set.
Well,
Gotta keep it tight.
Yeah,
Keep it tight.
we haven't been playing too many shows this month, and I was like, well, we need to start working on stuff. And then I was like, the week before the only show we have this month, we'll run the set and then work on new songs for a little bit. And so that's what we're gonna do later. But yeah, I have like tons of shit written. I have like 15 songs.
Yeah,
like,
you play them for
written.
me all the
I-
fucking time, and I'm
well,
like,
like
can I
Not even
should I
there
start
yet.
transcribing this?
that
or-
like gets
tab
back
it
to the
out?
like sober, how you were like asking.
Yeah, you're
like
manic as
writing
fuck, man.
music sober, like
Maniac.
yeah, because I'll
Yes.
just lock
Riff
myself
maniac.
in my office and I'll
Worship
just play guitar for fucking hours and hours and hours, and like I have a loop pedal in my like pedal board, and I'll just play like thrash metal YouTube
the
drum
YouTube
tracks,
drum tracks
and then
get me every time.
and then
dude.
I'll just record a
How
riff
replaceable do you
on-
feel, Jay? Where you're just
on
like,
my
well, I
thing.
guess I
Well-
could just be a YouTube
Yeah, I
trader.
was like, I'm not doing
And then I
that
show
yet.
up and he's like, and I'm like, what should I play? And you're like, I don't know, man. Just-
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just to get like the skeleton
like
of the
this.
song, you know, because Jay just plays fast.
what I was
and
gonna
then,
say
like,
was you have it all in your
the rest
head.
of the song that fluctuates, obviously, like me and Jay work great together. It's like he gets it.
Slamy's
but I'm
the
just like
vision
doing
guy. And
the,
you're actually
like,
pretty good at describing it too. So
the
then we know what
skeleton,
to
you
do.
know.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, there's this fast riff, so I'm just gonna like play this fast riff over and over this drum beat, and then I'll like start soloing over it to like write my solos and stuff, just so I can like have it all kind of together. Then I bring these two, and I'm just like, all right, here's a song, and then we all just kind of
Figure it
Do
out.
the
yeah.
thing.
Like there's been times we've been jamming, and I show them a new song, and we get it in like
When you say it like that, it's
10 minutes. Like what?
But it's true. It's just like
No, yeah, we
it
just
is-
like
it's
kind of
just
jam it
that
out.
Easy.
Like the harder songs, take us like a little longer, but
Some of the
whatever.
easiest songs, like Shit Pipe, were kind of just like us hanging out.
Yeah, that just, like, came
happens
together.
too.
Yeah.
But we write it together after you have like 2 or 3 riffs, 2 or 3 like parts
Yeah.
of the song figured out, and then he and I just kind of glue it together, and we have to figure out how many. You always want to do things 3 times, and then on the 4th one, a different way.
Yeah.
And it's
Like
just
a
like,
half
all right,
time.
so we do it 3 and 1 and 4 and 3 and then 1. and-
I just kind of play it till it sounds good. I'm
Yeah.
like, this many times, this feels good.
But I would love to see someone have to like.
And he's like, how many times you playing that? I'm like, I don't fucking know.
We should
Till
get sheet
till it
music.
feels right.
Yeah, I always run into issues with in Greywalker, like everybody kind of counts parts differently.
Yeah.
Like in my head, I'm like, oh, you're playing through that riff 2 times, and they're like, actually, it's 4 times.
4 times.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
which is
okay, all right,
technically
so your 2 is my 4. We gotta understand how
yeah,
it works.
that
confusing.
happens.
Yeah.
That happens to us all the time.
Yeah, I have to explain ratios, and then I
Where-
stop because I'm like, I'm trying to explain ratios to Slam.
But anyway, we're working on a lot of new shit. Definitely want to put out like a record next year. Probably do a couple splits, maybe another EP. Like I have so much shit written, and it's so easy for us to record. So
we're trying to do vinyl too, and
Yeah,
like how
Yeah. That's the goal.
'cause we like having that physical.
yeah, I think
Look
we're
what
gonna
we
put a
did.
vinyl out of most of the stuff we have recorded now, like a new song.
Hell yeah.
That's kind of in the works. We got like a live from Buffalo tape coming out in like probably a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we try to keep it rolling at all times. You got to be doing something.
I make videos and stuff, but just kind of on the fly because I don't really know what I'm doing, and then that adds to the style, if you will.
Sure.
But you got to just be putting out content all the time.
Yeah.
Feed the
All
algorithm
time. Yeah, we're like
so
always
that the future gods.
trying to work on new merch
Shine upon
ideas. I'm like booking us tours for next. I have us like planned out. Like not everything's booked, but like I have like skeletons of tours and ideas and messages out like till May
Yeah. Yeah.
because we're trying to go.
Yeah. That's what you got to do. It's the only way to do something is to do it. You can talk about it all you want, but
Exactly, yeah.
you got to move on it.
A lot of people, yeah, and that's another thing. A lot of people like to be like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do this," and then never do.
It takes a lot of time.
It gets
Yeah,
You have to give a shit.
It gets to the point now, like we've been on the road so many times that like when you're in town, for like, why are you here?
Yeah. That happens
Yeah.
to me a lot. Like I'll like just show up to a friend's show, and people are like, "What are you doing here?" It's like,
Aren't you supposed to be on
come and
tour?
hang out, dog. Yeah.
Aren't you
I'm
supposed to be on tour or something? Or like,
When
no, that's
people
next
ask me
week.
where, oh, weren't you in this? It's nice to.
Yeah.
That's probably the best part about it is getting out of town, seeing people. I got to meet a lot of your friends, and now they're my friends, and
Yeah,
I
it's-
can't remember anybody's name.
it's
I
been
feel bad.
great. Like we can kind of go all over. We have homies there, like Cleveland, Cincinnati, like Columbus, fucking Detroit, Philadelphia. Like just
We had a really good show
Like,
in New York, and I got to see my buddy who lives in I think he lives in Brooklyn or whatever. But I wouldn't really have a reason to go, like into the city and
right.
meet up with him.
I want to
for
give the
whatever. but he
Bastard
came to the
Cross
show. It was
boys
great.
a shout out because
Oh yeah.
the Bastard
Bastard
Cross
Cross
boys
for
are
sure.
just so great. I love those guys.
Yeah. And again, we're very lucky that the people that we go out with are easygoing and, they like to have fun, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, gentlemen, if it's okay if I call you all gentlemen,
Yeah, sure.
Feels
you
good.
call us what you
fellas,
It's never happened
Homies.
before.
Homies.
Me, I'm not a gentleman.
We're definitely homies now.
Well, homies,
Yeah, homies.
I appreciate
homies.
you all coming by today to chat a bit about the band. Excited to see the future
Yeah,
of the
this
band.
was great.
We got to get a show
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, we should do that.
We got to do
Definitely.
some loud, fast shit.
I'm booking shows for next year, so
Hell yeah.
we'll just
Loud guitar music.
Yeah,
loud
guitar music.
guitar, rock and roll. That's
Riffs.
what we like.
Yeah, loud guitar music. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, baby.
But with all of that being said, I guess we're gonna wrap this little shit show up for the day.
We will shit show up.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
Hey, thanks
Thank
for
you
having
for
us,
us, dude.
Thank you all
This
so
is-
much.
this is great.
It was
It's
awesome
fucking
to meet you all.
awesome.
Hell yeah, it was super tight. I'll be back again next week with another episode and another table full of jagoffs, I'm sure.
Jag off.
My name is Brian Sykes Howe. Start the Beat is this podcast. Take care of yourselves, take care of the people around you, and peace out. Thanks for being here.